Embarking on the artistic journey of baking a cake is a delightful pursuit of perfection. This is not just about following a recipe. Instead, it's a mesmerizing dance of flavors and textures, a symphony of sweetness that unfolds under the tender care of your oven. The art of baking a cake is not about achieving absolute perfection, but the pursuit of it. It's about the joy of watching simple ingredients transform into a delightful creation, the anticipation of the first bite, and the satisfaction of sharing masterpiece with this pursuit is a labor of love, patience, and precision. Our quest today begins with the fundamental step, selecting the right ingredients. Akin to a painter carefully choosing the perfect hues for their canvas, a baker must handpick the finest ingredients for their cake. The quality of butter, the freshness of eggs, the purity of vanilla, all significantly impact the final gastronomical artwork. It's not just what you use, but the freshness and handling of these ingredients that matter. In tandem with premium ingredients, having the right tools is crucial. Your kitchen is your personal laboratory, where you experiment with techniques and tools. From the unassuming whisk to the powerful oven, each tool has its unique role in the cake-making process. Knowing how to these tools effectively is equally important. And finally, the secret ingredient in the art of baking, patience. Baking is an unhurried process. From the patient creaming of butter and sugar to the careful cooling before frosting, each step demands time and care. Baking a cake is more a task. It's a journey, an adventure, a quest. Result not always be perfect, but the process is gratifying nonetheless. Each cake is an expression of your creativity and passion, a testament to your patience and precision. So, are you ready to embark on this sweet journey? The path to creating the perfect cake begins understanding the basics of baking and adopting the right mindset. Let's begin this delightful adventure. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more baking tips and tricks. The first step to bake a perfect cake is to gather all the ingredients and tools. When it comes to ingredients, it's all about quality and precision. For most cakes, you will need some staple items: flour, sugar, eggs, and butter. The flour serves as the structure, the backbone of your cake. Sugar is more than just sweetness. It adds moisture and helps with browning. Eggs bring everything together, providing structure and moisture, while butter imparts rich flavor and tender texture. Choosing the right type of each ingredient can make a world of difference. All-purpose flour is a safe bet for most cakes, but cake flour can give a lighter, softer texture. Granulated sugar is the go-to, but brown sugar can add depth with its caramel notes. Fresh, large eggs are usually best, and unsalted butter gives you control over the salt content. But ingredients are only half the story. You also need the right tools to transform these ingredients into a delicious, mouth-watering cake. Mixing bowls, for instance, are essential. Choose ones that are large enough to hold all your ingredients without spilling over the sides. Measuring cups and spoons are key for precision. Baking is a science, and getting the measurements right can mean the difference between a fluffy, moist cake and a dense, dry one. You'll also need baking pans. The shape and size will depend on the type of cake you're making. Round pans for layer cakes, a tube pan for angel food cake, and so on. And let's not forget the oven. A good oven that heats evenly is crucial for baking. Preheating is key. You want your cake to start baking as soon as it hits the heat. So, take a moment to gather your ingredients, check your tools, and preheat your oven. Preparation is key, and setting up your workspace beforehand can make the whole process smoother and more enjoyable. Remember, having the right ingredients and tools sets the foundation for your perfect cake. Now that we have all our ingredients and tools, it's time to mix them. And this, my dear friends, is where the magic truly begins. Mixing is more than just combining ingredients. It's an art, a dance, if you will, between wet and dry elements that breathe life into our cake. Let's first focus on the dry ingredients. Flour, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. They all need to be mixed together. This is essential because it evenly disperses the leavening agents, baking powder and baking soda, throughout the flour. This ensures a uniform rise when our cake bakes, giving it that perfect, enviable structure. Next, we turn our attention to the wet ingredients. These usually include eggs, milk, oil, or butter, and flavorings like vanilla or almond extract. Mixing these together ensures that the fats, liquids, and flavors are evenly distributed, which will, in turn, help them integrate better with the dry ingredients. Now, here's where the artistry comes in. Combining the wet and dry ingredients is a delicate process. You want to stir them together just until they're mixed. I repeat, just until mixed. Overmixing is the arch nemesis of a light and fluffy cake. It develops the gluten in the flour, making the cake tough and dense. So remember, when it comes to mixing, less is more. Think of it this way. Mixing is like a symphony. Each ingredient plays its part, and when combined correctly, they produce a harmonious melody of flavors and textures. But if overplayed, the melody can quickly turn into a cacophony, resulting in a disappointing end product. So respect the process, and the process will respect you. Take your time, be gentle, and remember, your cake is a reflection of your care and attention to detail. The art of mixing is like the heart of baking. It pumps life into the ingredients, transforming them from their raw, individual states into a unified, delicious masterpiece. And that's why the art of mixing is crucial to achieving a light and fluffy cake. Once your cake batter is ready, it's time to bake it. And the baking process is where the magic really happens. It's where we transform our humble batter into a glorious cake. Firstly, we need to talk about preheating the oven. It's not just a suggestion, it's a must. Preheating ensures that your oven is at the right temperature from the get-go, giving your cake a great start. A cold oven can lead to a dense, flat cake, and nobody wants that. So, set your oven to the temperature specified in your recipe and let it heat up while you get your cake batter ready. Now, onto the baking pan. Before you pour your batter in, you'll need to prepare your pan. You can butter it, line it with parchment paper, or use a nonstick spray. This will ensure your cake doesn't stick to the pan and comes out easily once it's baked. It's a small step, but it can make a huge difference. Pouring the batter evenly into the pan is also crucial. This ensures that the cake bakes uniformly. If one side has more batter than the other, it will bake unevenly and could end up lopsided. So take your time and spread your batter evenly. Once your pan is ready and your oven is preheated, it's time to bake. Place your pan in the middle of the oven. This is usually the spot where heat is most evenly distributed. Now, patience is key. Resist the temptation to open the oven door. Doing so can cause the temperature to drop and disrupt the baking process. Checking the cake for doneness is the final step. The most reliable method is the toothpick test. Insert a toothpick into the center of the cake. If it comes out clean or with a few moist crumbs, your cake is done. If it's still wet, give your cake a few more minutes. Baking is a delicate process, and knowing when your cake is perfectly baked is a skill. But remember, practice makes perfect. So continue to bake, learn, and enjoy the process. A perfect cake is not just about the taste, but also about the presentation. Once the cake is out of the oven and smelling divine, it's time to let it cool. This is an important step that should not be rushed, as a cool cake is easier to decorate, and the icing will hold better. Set the cake on a cooling rack and allow it to settle for about an hour. Now let's talk decoration. Simplicity is often the key to elegance. A dusting of powdered sugar, a drizzle of glaze, or a dollop of whipped cream can make your cake stand out. Fresh berries or edible flowers can add a vibrant touch of color and texture. Presentation is the final flourish. Choose a cake stand or plate that complements your creation. A plain white stand can make the colors of your cake pop, while a vintage stand can add a touch of whimsy. A well-decorated cake is a feast for the eyes and the palate. Baking the perfect cake may seem daunting, but it's a delightful journey. Let's take a moment to whisk through what we've learned. We began our journey by understanding the importance of having the right ingredients and tools. Just like a painter needs her palette and brushes, a baker needs her flour, sugar, eggs, and a trusty mixer. Then we dived into the art of mixing, where we discovered that precision and patience are key. It's all about finding that perfect balance, not too fast, not too slow, just right. Moving on, we entered the exciting realm of baking. We learned how a correctly preheated oven and the right amount of baking time can make all the difference. Lastly, we explored the world of decoration and presentation, where creativity meets culinary skill. Whether it's a simple dusting of powdered sugar or an intricate icing design, every cake deserves a grand finale. Remember, the secret to a perfect cake lies in understanding the basics, patience, and love for baking.